live. Hey guys and girls, I wanted to tell you my story. I wanted to tell you where I came from and where I've been and where I'm at now. And the reason I want to do this is because there are a lot of people like me out there that may not have the hope, especially some younger kids with what's going on right now. But I wanted to dive in a little bit and do a live and show my vulnerability. Uh, Talk a little bit about something that I have always been, well, I used to be embarrassed about, but I've realized over my years that it actually has helped me to get to where I'm at. So, but I was actually a high school dropout. I failed seventh grade. I flunked seventh grade, so I had to do seventh grade twice. And I hit 10th grade. I completed it, and I was tired of school. I was tired of school. I couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't stand going. I would skip school all the time, and this is back when you can skip school and literally nobody knew, you know. Unlike today, where if one of my kids don't go to school, I'm literally getting a text message. So, but that was back in 1989. I ended up failing seventh grade. I was a terrible student. I barely passed my grades as I got into, fifth, sixth, seventh grade. Failed seventh grade. Ended up switching from a Catholic school in seventh grade to a public school, and then taking seventh grade again. And made it to 10th grade barely, and failed 10th grade. Or no, I'm sorry, I didn't fail 10th. I passed 10th grade, but I was tired. I couldn't stand school anymore. I was tired. So I quit school, even though my parents were fighting me not to. I quit. I quit school at 10th grade. I ended up going to the local community college, Lehigh County or Lehigh Carbon Community College, and I got my GED. And I was just taking some odd jobs. I was building. I worked at a pallet company for a while, and I was building pallets. I worked for a summer at an HVAC company where I was actually making the duct work in their shop. Hey Bill. Yep. Oh, there you are. Hey Bill, how you doing, buddy? Um, but it just, I wasn't happy. I didn't know what I was doing. I hated everything that was going on. I got a call from I was living with my girlfriend at the time. Also, I turned 18, and I got a call from my dad asking me to join a family business as a flooring installer. And I'm like, well, all right, what else do I have to lose? So let's do that. So I did that. That was back in 1989, and learned the flooring trade. That's how I got into construction, and started doing pretty good. Ended up meeting my son's mother in around 2000 or so. And 9 years later, that wasn't working out. I ended up getting a divorce. And here's 2009 for you, okay? If you can get this. 2009, because of the economy and construction crashing, I took a 10% hit on my income, okay, so that nobody in the company would have to get fired. And I started a divorce. That was not fun. I lost my marriage. I lost my home. And I had over $10,000 in credit card debt. So I ended up moving into an apartment that I could barely afford. I had to borrow $3,000 from my parents at the age of 30 or so, just to be able to get into an apartment, because I needed first month's rent, last month's rent, and security deposit. So that was $3,000, and had to borrow that from my mommy and daddy at the age of 30 or so, which was embarrassing enough. And ended up moving into an apartment that I could barely afford, and I would work extra hours just to pay for it. I had all this debt. I had my car. When I moved into my apartment, all I had were my clothes I had nothing. I had no utensils. I had no napkins. I had no furniture. I was in an empty shell of a box apartment all by myself with a lowered salary, broke, over 10 grand in credit card debt, and divorced. That was the lowest point in my 48 years of life, right there. And it all turned around in 2012. So when it all turned around, I had a friend of mine, Jason, call me up, and he told me that he discovered a way to earn some extra money working from home. And I was like, all right, well, you know what? He's like, meet up with me tomorrow. Let's check this out. So I'm like, all right, what else can I lose? I can't do any worse than what I'm doing right now. You know, I can't. The only worse I could get than where I was is if I was homeless, living in I had a 1998 Dodge Durango at that time, and it was 2012 or so, or no, 2009. I had an old truck, and then 2012, March 2012, I'll never forget the date, March 23rd, 2012, is when my life turned for the better. And when I talked to Jason, I'm like, you know what? He's like, come on out here and meet with me tomorrow. Let's talk. Let me show you something and go from there. And I'm like, what have I got to lose? I got nothing to lose. I needed something to help get my motivation back. I mean, my new girlfriend at the time, my now wife, Monica, we were together for, about a year and a half at that point. And I told her, and she's like, go for it, because I was still, in 2012, I was still depressed. So I went on and took a look at it, met Jason the next day, and I looked at him, and I said, this is pretty cool. I like this. This is neat. This is cool. I can do this. And it will help me to get excitement back in my life and some motivation and some mojo back in my life. So the next day, I jumped in full time. Now, let's fast forward a little bit to 2014. 2 years later, my wife Monica and I get married. So when March 2012 hit is when my life started to go back in that upswing again. And still had a lot of debt. I had probably at that point about $7,000 or $8,000 in debt, trying to pay off my over 10 grand in credit card debt slowly, because I was coming again from nothing, starting literally at the bottom. And in 2 years, I was able to make enough money on the side while still working in my parents' business, still doing flooring, to have enough money to pay for our wedding, and which was nice, and not have to put any more money on a credit card and rack up even more credit card debt. So 2014, Monica and I get married. 2015, a year later, we get pregnant with our daughter Cielo, which is what we were wanting, and it happened quick. So right before Cielo was born, we had to buy a house now, because now we had, combined the three of us kids and myself and Monica. So in 2015, we ended up moving into the home that we're at right now. Right now I'm in my home office in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. Beautiful 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, roughly about 2,300 square feet on a couple acres of land in the middle of the woods. And I absolutely love it. I love it. I mean, life has just been going like up in the up direction. Now, fast forward again 2 more years, because I'm continuing to never stop. I semi-retired from my family business. That was September 2017. And what I mean by that is I was working there 9 to 5 in sales. What I mean by that is I semi-retired from the 9 to 5 job, because I'm not an owner in my family's business. I'm an employee. I've been an employee since day one. And I semi-retired from the 9 to 5 job, meaning I only work there a couple days a week. So 3 years now, I have been part-time in the family's business. and semi-retired. And what I do with my extra time, I do my other ventures, I do other things. I'm home. I mean, right now at the time of this video, it's a Wednesday morning at 9:30 a.m. and I'm here on, I guess, what's called hump day, because I haven't had a hump day in 3 years. Um, Enjoying what I call time freedom. Something that's allowed me to have my time. Um, Something else I've always wanted is I've always wanted some sort of sports car ever since I was a little kid. And in 2019, I bought a Alfa Romeo. So it's next month is December. Next month will be 1 year, December 19th, that I bought my Alfa Romeo blue. I love it. I love blue. You can see behind me. I painted my walls blue. Um, and it all started. This whole uptake started back in 2012 when my buddy Jason gave me that phone call. And I'll be grateful for him for many, many years to come, because he was part of my situation and helping me to start that uptick to where I am today. Right now it's November 25th, 2020. And if you would have told me, let's say 2020, if you would have told me 11 years ago, when I was at the lowest point in my life, that in 11 years I would be where I'm at today and doing what I'm doing and helping people, I would have thought you were crazy. I literally would have thought you were crazy, because that's not the direction I saw my life going back then in 2009. But it's nuts. It's nuts. I'm grateful. I get to help people. I get to help others that are in situations, that were in situations like mine, get out of that. And it's very satisfying. It's very satisfying being a part of somebody else's journey. It's almost as if, somebody helped me out back in 2009, and he was a friend of mine back in 2000, or still a friend of mine, but he was a friend of mine even back then, and he knew what my situation was, and maybe he thought that this was something that could help me. And if that's what his thought was, he was 100% correct, and reached out to me, and I'm thankful that he did. Would my life be where it's at today if he would not have reached out to me? I have no idea. I don't know where my life would be right now if my turn of events went, if I didn't get that phone call. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm glad I did. And if you're out there, if you have been in a situation like mine, similar, if you dropped out of high school like I did at 10th grade, I failed 7th grade, had to take it over, all because I was lazy. I was a lazy teenager. If you feel me in any way, and you are in that situation, I don't care how old you are. If you're 18 right now and you're in that situation, or if you're 88, I don't care. Reach out to me. Let's talk. Let me help you. Let me be that person. Let me be your Jason. Let me be your Jason, is what I would love to do. So, just reach out. You can always, if you're watching this video, you can always message me, or you can just go to my website, residualhustler.com, and reach out to me there. Thanks, Bill. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. So, but that's it. I just wanted to share my story here publicly, because I don't think I've ever done that before in this form, and I'm still in my journey and sharing my story from high school dropout to entrepreneur. To me, is a success story, and I just wanted to share with others who might be in my same situation, or were at one point, that there is hope, there is another direction to go. So if I can help you out in any way, any form, let me know. Just message me or go to my website, residualhustler.com. And if you can relate, let's talk. Let me be your Jason. Let me be your Jason. Have a good one, guys. See ya.